Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the next phase of contextual electronics, where we're going to be going and what we're going to be doing, because I'm really excited about it. I've written a little bit about it on the blog. I will link that, and please go check that out. But the big thing we're going to be moving to is moving from a all-at-once model to a monthly model. Now, that sounds like it's kind of focused more on the membership side of things, but it's actually built around how we want to develop hardware, right? So let's talk a little bit about the Bench Buddy, right? So Bench Buddy is what we designed in the first session of Contextual Electronics. More accurately, it's what I designed all by myself about 6 months before Contextual Electronics. And that right there is the problem, right? It was a linear. I went through and was making videos as I did different parts of the layout, and I had some feedback from an early beta group who I really appreciated. But the problem was there really wasn't any way to interact while we were building it, right? And that did two things. One, obviously it was isolated, and two, there was nothing we could do when we started finally going through it, right? So as we went through the first session of the course, people were watching what I had done many months prior, but we weren't able to actually change anything, right? So it was very linear. It was design the power section, design the op-amp section, design the ADC section, right? And we did all of these things all at once, very linearly, and at the end we had this board. That's not how hardware works, right? What you do is you design the op-amp section, and then you tweak it, and you test it, and you try different things, and you try little breakout boards, and you put things into a test jig, and you run a bunch of tests on it, and then you set that aside. And then you go to the ADC section, and you run tests on that, and you start talking to the registers, and you check out the data sheet, and you make sure you check all of these things that you need to be doing. Basically, you do it iteratively, right? So we designed modules, right? And modules is a great way to design, right? Because then you can hopefully reuse stuff or even just think about things in a more compact manner. But the problem is, if you're not actually iterating on that module each time, right? So if the op-amp circuit has a problem, you need to go back and fix it. And then the ADC thing has a problem, you go back and you fix it. And then eventually at the end you have a bunch of different modules, and they all hopefully work great, right? And then you integrate them into a big thing like this. So that's really the big change that's coming to contextual electronics. We're going to be moving to a iterative modular method, right? I know that sounds kind of weird and silly, right? But it's basically we want to move to a place where we can iterate on things, and it's not just a linear progression, right? And this is a big change also from how schools work, right? Obviously, contextual electronics is not a traditional school. It's not traditional in a lot of ways. But the thing is, schools are linear because they have to be, right? You plan everything out beforehand, and then you go through and you execute. Well, that's not how hardware works. That's not how life works, right? You have to go test, try things out, go back, try it again, and there will be a little bit more chaos in there, but I think ultimately there will be a lot more learning. Now, another piece of that, we sent out a lot of these boards, right? So these were all shipped to Contextual Electronics members. They went through the first session, session 1A. We went through and designed it, right? People followed along the course. But then we sent everyone this. And then they went out and ordered their own parts in session 1B, and we built it all together. The reason we did that is because we wanted to test, or we wanted to have a common baseline when we were in session 1B. That was the big idea there. And that actually was really helpful because everybody was on the same page. The downside is that people weren't sending out for their own boards, right? So they weren't actually going out and going through the process of ordering a board and using their own design there, right? We were all using the exact same Gerber files to go to the fab to get it all made because we wanted this unified hardware piece when we started building. Again, that's not realistic. You need to learn how to build or design your own boards and deal with your own mistakes, right? So that's another big piece that we're going to be going through. So as members go through and we're testing and we're iterating and we're designing new pieces, say we design a switcher circuit, right? Everybody sends out their own boards now. Everybody gets back their own boards. Everybody troubleshoots their own boards. They're not going to be the same, but because they're smaller and because they're more, a more constrained module, we should be able to have less interactions between everything and be able to work together to help people fix their own boards. We'll still have a reference point, which would be everybody else's boards, right? So if I sent out a switcher circuit and someone taking contextual electronics sends out a switcher circuit and one of them has a problem, we can refer to other people's, right? We'll still be working on similar parts, maybe not even the same part, maybe we'll be trying out different things, but the idea is we'll all be working on the same kind of section together and be collaborating around an idea versus collaborating around an exact design. This might be a little scary as you're getting started, but the best part about it is that there will always be a reference point. You can always go and grab the files that I'll be working on, as you know, because I'm deciding where the course is going. You can go and grab those files, and you can just use those if you want to. Basically, it's a you choose your level of involvement type of thing. If you want to, use custom files and go get boards made. If you want to use the files that I'm making, go get boards made. If you want to even just step away and not make a certain type of board and not test something, you can do that as well. Now, what this means logistically is that we're moving to a monthly model, right? Before, it was when you purchased Contextual Electronics, you signed up and you were in it for the 8-week session, which was session 1A, and then there was another one for session 1B. Now it's going to be a monthly subscription model, right? So you're going to subscribe to the site, you get to see everything, you get to see all of the past stuff. So if you never saw session 1A and 1B, you can go back and look at that. But then the idea is that as we go through, we're going to be working on new projects, and we'll also be, iterating on old projects, so the bench buddy will be able to revise this. And basically the idea is that as one board goes out, right? So if we're going and sending out the board for a new switcher circuit, right? There is time delay involved with that. That's another thing about hardware. You have to go and you have to wait for your board to get back. You have to wait for your parts to arrive. The logistics are an important thing to learn as well. As we're waiting for that stuff, we can go and work on maybe the firmware from the bench buddy. We can revise that. We can go work on a new project. We can go work on a new test. We can go test hardware that we had already gotten back previously. So all of these things are part of a new way of doing contextual electronics. It's it's a subscription to the site now to all things that we're working on. You get to pick and choose what you want to work on, but basically contextual electronics as a way of life instead of just a course that you sign up for. So I'm really, really excited about how this is going to go. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome working with everybody and letting people try out their ideas, work together on troubleshooting them, and building some awesome hardware at the end of the day. So that's all for now. I'm excited. Hopefully you sign up if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.